It's much easier to stay where you are super comfortable, and it is more difficult to walk away from it, especially when you built your entire life around it. But I did it, and I'm gonna tell you why. I didn't quit corporate because I had everything in life all figured out. Truthfully, I don't think that's the goal at all. Perhaps the goal in life is finding freedom in its many forms, in true happiness that you're able to build yourself. And maybe it's even realizing that at the end of the day, figuring it out was never the goal to begin with. When I resigned from my corporate job, it was because I got sick of living out of alignment of who I was becoming and who I wanted to be. I was working full-time, 7:30 to 5 every single day, raising my son, trying to build a personal brand on the side for the off chance that maybe something could come of this, but I was running on empty. I started burning out doing all these different things. But why isn't it that what I did for a living or what I did for fun was more fueling to me than the work of that 9-to-5 job? There were so many days I would log out really late from work. The days just kind of became a blur. There was a lack of challenge in it too. And people in general, our brains are wired to solve problems and have challenges, and that's what brings us happiness, when we can solve a problem. So when a place of work no longer challenges me, I get bored, days get blurry, and I become very unhappy. And the worst part of it all is I would feel so guilty at the end of the day because there's just so much more I wasn't tapping into for myself. The real question became, but more of what? If I felt I could do more. I didn't feel super creative. I didn't feel present. I didn't feel like me. Anytime I'd go on like a 2-day trip to do a photo shoot, whether it was for a fitness brand or the modeling side, it was just that, a vacation and just a 2-day shoot. And then I would show up the next day and go back to work and do it all over again. And you've probably heard this overplayed quote where you have to build this life that you don't need a vacation from. And it's not all like what you see on the internet where every day is a vacation for some people. Unless you've built your platform around that, then maybe it truly is like that. But there's a lot of hard work with scripting and with finding the right edits. Like all of these people, even if they have the most epic experiences in their life, it still takes a lot of effort, or paying a team of people to do the effort for you to live that type of life. However, it is still possible to build a life you truly love and one you don't need to escape from. Now, the real story behind this too, because we all have one when it comes to resigning from our job or quitting or doing something else, it was never to go back into a position like that again, where I absolutely did not own my time and didn't feel present in my personal life, nor happy. Need to have the coffee. The thing is, I'd been saying for years and years, and a lot of my friends who might listen to this will understand and know because they were there with me, I'm gonna quit my job. I would always say that, I'm gonna leave my job, I'm gonna quit my job. And then it just never happened because again, it was comfortable. It was a stable paycheck. Who in their right mind would walk away from something stable, especially having a small child you have to care for, a mortgage to pay, all of the bills to pay. And if you watched my previous video a couple months ago, I did talk about the actual steps I took to leave my 9-to-5, but this is the other side of it. I actually sat down with a calendar with one of my best friends, and I picked a date on the calendar and I said, this is the day I'm going to leave. And the reason he told me to do that is because he said, if it's not in existence, if it's not in writing, it's never going to happen, which is exactly what happened. I would say, I'm gonna quit, and it never happened for years. I stayed in my corporate job for 5 years, and at least 4 of those I knew I didn't belong. Once I left my job, I realized, quitting didn't fix everything for me. It didn't fix my life. What it did do is expose what I've been avoiding. And that started with my routine, okay? So my routine had absolutely been avoided. I had been asked before, okay, if you left your 9-to-5 today, what would you be doing during that time? And I was like, holy crap, it wasn't an easy question to answer. Would I be training? Would I be reading a book? Like I just said some normal things. But if you're building a business, you need to build that into your schedule. You need to be proactive so that you're not going under financially, but also now you're doing the things you said that are important to you, your vision. Are you staying more fit? Now I can go to the gym twice a day if I wanted to. But at the end of the day, your routine matters. The other things I needed to rebuild and I've been avoiding is my mindset. my fitness again, my health. Like I was still going to the gym, as you guys have seen, for the last however many years. I've been training for over 14 years. I've only been showing up on social media since like 2020 though. So you figure that's 5 years of being into fitness, and only left my job a year and a half ago maybe now. And the thing is, I wasn't able to go in there as long as I wanted. I was very strict on time. If work went too late, I couldn't go. So again, know what is important to you and build those things into your routine. The next is your, I said income, mindset. All these different things need to be wrapped in to what you're rebuilding when you jump and leave. The important thing is I started building something that felt real to me again. Now I want to talk about the things people don't tell you when you're romanticizing, and that's the key word, about quitting your job. Number one is separating your business finances now. Even before you start taking a dollar in whatever form it is, you need to separate that. If you're swiping your card for all of your business purchases, just don't do that. Separate them now, open a different account. I use Relay. It didn't charge me anything the first time. You can build as many accounts as you want. No, I'm not sponsored, but just putting it out there, there are different options out there for you to just have an account that you can separate money. You'll thank me come April when you put 30% hopefully away for taxes. That brings me to point number two. If you are self-employed, you owe taxes. Again, you'll thank me come April if you're saving money and putting it away and not touching that. You do need money to, finance your life, right? To pay your bills. And that's why I talked about in my original video about when I left and quit my 9-to-5, is the most important tier of my freedom pyramid is that you need to have that financial buffer. You need to be financially planning for that jump. Number three is building income streams before you jump ship. And not just jumping ship, but burning bridges. Because if I ever went back to that corporate job, I'm pretty sure they'd be like, hell no. But I also would say hell no back to that. I would never, my ego would not allow me to do that. But test your product, test your service, understand, is it scalable? What things matter? And if you're like me, you're gonna have a million ideas at once. Focus on the core one that is the most important, that you are the most passionate about, and then start stacking when you've tested. If you don't test your product or service and you just think it's going to make money, you're probably wrong. Build that safety net first, and this brings me to the next point, and that's prepare for slow growth. You might not pop off right away, right? Have you built that personal brand? And I'm not saying you need 1 million followers, because you don't. I don't. I was able to start a business, but if I didn't build a personal brand around fitness and training and even my competition days, I probably would have had a really hard time selling one-on-one coaching. And to tie some of these points together, it wasn't a scalable model. And what I mean by scalable is how much money do you want to make? If you're okay with making whatever you can make in a month from working solo, that's great. But if you have income goals like I do, I realized that unless I hired a bunch of other coaches to work underneath me and to also promote, but I would have to pay them too, I wouldn't be a very scalable model. There's only so much you can do as a one-on-one customized trainer. And again, this comes into the propaganda out there of these fitness trainers saying, I'm training thousands of people all at once. That's not possible. They have other trainers, or they're giving you the same program they're giving to a bunch of other people. They just have a few cookie cutter ones, they pick from it and go. And that's fine. If people are getting great results, that's awesome. But depending, again, on your customization and your scalability. And I'm not saying you're here because you want to do fitness online training, but if that's one of your goals, understand that one-on-one is not scalable for a certain max amount of number without hiring other people. And that's true in the content creator space too. If I take on 20 clients, that is not possible for me with quick turnarounds. If someone needs a video for YouTube every single week and I have 20 clients, that's 20 videos I'd have to edit. I would literally have no life, and I would probably have to hire someone else to help edit. So again, this happens in every industry. Just understand the scalability factor in your income goals, but also that you might not pop off right away. People think leaving your job is the end goal, and you couldn't be more wrong. That's just the beginning and the starting point for the real work to take place. The next point, and also something I will harp on till the day that I die, is that discipline is always going to be better than motivation. No boss? Cool. You have to act as your own boss now. You need to do the things that bosses do. You need to show up, take the actions, pay the bills, do all of the things it takes to be a boss. Bottom line, discipline is the only way forward in this aspect. And lastly, more of a personal touch for me is that you need to have trust in yourself. If I did this 5, 6, 7, 8 years ago, I would have failed miserably because I didn't believe that I could really do this. I didn't believe I was capable of being self-employed. I didn't believe that I could be someone that someone would pay for a service, right? You have to have trust in yourself and belief. You need to have some people in your life almost doing an audit or giving you feedback that aren't emotionally tied to you, because the people emotionally tied are going to tell you what you want to hear. That's the truth. So you need to find some people on the outside who are going to tell you that hard truth when you don't want to hear it, but when you need to hear it. The last thing here, and this is a little broader and very specific to the person, but know what you are doing this for. If that's a new house, like me, I want to be able to build a house one day, right? I'm remodeling the outside of mine right now because it's old and falling apart, so it had to happen, but also I finally have the financial ability to do what I want with it. I'm not just fixing something, I'm remodeling it to a way that I have always wanted. But if that's like a fancy car or fancy watch or something like a purse or whatever it is, that is okay. Give yourself permission to be okay with your own goals and financial goals. If you are afraid of money or feel almost like, oh, money is the devil, you've heard that growing up. I heard that growing up, that we're just not able to have money like that or do things like that. That was constantly put into my head as a child, that growing up, I always thought like, oh, I'm just gonna be like middle class forever or poor, or whatever you wanna call it. And the thing is, it's okay. And if people demonize you working hard or demonize the fact that you want to make money or have the nice things, like screw them. It doesn't matter. This is for you and it's okay. I'm telling you right now, it's okay to want the things that you want. That is okay. You're working for them. It's not coming free. It is earned, not given, right? So that is the last part I just want to put here because it's super important that you need to allow yourself to be okay with the things that you want, despite what anyone else thinks. If your family or friends are jealous, who cares?
Who cares?
So what I'm doing now with my days, with my life, is building something that I'm truly proud of, that's real to me, and that I love showing up to. Do I have it all figured out? The answer is still no. But I am redefining and finding purpose again in my day. I'm waking up with purpose, and that is so much more valuable to me than what any paycheck could give me. If you are watching this right now and wondering, is it time for me to leave my job? Ask yourself this. Is this job or position costing me more than it's giving me? And what I'm talking about is your time, your energy, your peace, your fitness, health, your family time, whatever it is. Those things are so important, and they aren't worth trading for comfort. You don't need 1 million followers to build something. Like we said, you probably do need some kind of personal brand that pertains to what you're trying to sell. You don't need to just start over. However, I've rebranded a bunch of times. You have to have that inner push. You need to have that discipline to move forward, to be able to look failure in the face and go, okay, I'm gonna go back to the drawing board and I'm gonna figure this out. Because again, if you asked myself years ago, I would have just quit. I would have stopped and said, oh, it's not working. People don't like me, or they don't trust and believe in me, or whatever. That's not it. You have to believe in yourself. You have to be able to have the mental fortitude to keep moving forward and to keep moving the needle forward and to adjust as many times as needed to make it happen. What you really need is clarity, the courage to pursue, and consistency. I quit my job to rebuild my life, and it was the hardest, best decision of my entire life. And as always, thank you all for being here. If you want to break down on anything specific, you know that you can drop it in the comments or message me, email me, whatever works best for you. I'm here every Thursday with the Built to Perform series. And yes, HybridX Phase 2 is coming. I'm building it this summer. If you guys want to see the behind the scenes of how I create this, and I do it all by myself, like let me know and I'm happy to make a video on that. That'd be really awesome. If you're interested in that, if that's of no interest, that's cool. I don't care. It's fine. It doesn't hurt my feelings. But as always, thank you for being here. I hope this resonates. If you're not trying to leave your job and you enjoy what you do, that's awesome too. Thank you just for being here and supporting the channel. Like, comment, subscribe, all the things. You're built to perform, and I love you guys.